If you have lumbar spinal stenosis and you're doing any of these 5 exercises I'm about to go over, you should stop immediately. You may feel like you're trying to help your body, but it could be making things worse. When I treat patients with lumbar spinal stenosis and they're showing me one of these exercises that they're doing, I can't help but cringe a little bit on the inside. So here's the caveats with lumbar spinal stenosis. It's that you're doing these exercises to help improve your symptoms, but these exact exercises could be closing down on your back and nerves even more. Spinal stenosis is a space issue, and you don't want to be doing any exercises that close down on that space even more. Today I'm going to be showing you those exercises and what you should not be doing, but I'm going to be showing you what you should be doing instead. And that's right, we're going to be going over some nuances here because your body's changed and spinal stenosis requires you to learn your body and do exercises that are going to open up your spine and not close it down so you can not only feel better now, but you still have some years ahead of you that you want to be improving your symptoms and improving your spine. So we're going to be going over the exact nuances that I tell clients when they show me these exercises. I'm like, stop doing those and do these instead. So we're about to get started with the very first exercise, but I just want to tell you guys, the nuances matter. I'm going to be going over the nuances. I'm going to be going over exactly what you should be feeling and not feeling, and that makes the difference in what you're doing in the exercise, and that these small changes could absolutely be the difference between you getting better and you feeling worse. And so listen to the details. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments because I think it's important to get those answers. But before we waste any more time, let's go over the first exercise, which is the Cat Camel. So get on the floor or just listen, but I'm going to be showing you exactly what goes wrong with that exercise and what you should be doing instead. So let's go over the first exercise. It is the Cat Camel. Now, if you've seen any type of movement professional, a personal trainer, or physical therapist, they've probably recommended a Cat Camel to you some point in time in your journey for pain relief. Well, the thing is with the Cat Camel, when you get on your hands and knees and you poke your butt out and you do this portion of it, that's extension. And what extension is, that's the same feeling that you get when you stand and walk for a long period of time. And with spinal stenosis, you know that that's problematic for you. So instead of doing the Cat Camel, I would recommend that you just do one portion of that and then move into a flexion moment. So extension typically tends to be uncomfortable and flexion is our friend. And so here's the mistake is that when you arch here, that feels really good. And then you poke your butt out, you're like, oh, I don't know about this. Flex is good, flexion is your friend. Extension tends to be uncomfortable. And so what I notice is that when patients do this, they're like, oh, I feel relatively well in the moment, but when they go to stand up and walk, there's no change in their back pain or leg symptoms. And so when you have spinal stenosis, we're trying to improve those things and improve your ability to stand and walk. So doing the extension moment of the Cat Camel is typically uncomfortable. Extension, flexion. So instead, what I recommend you do is you just do the flexion component. It's okay not to extend. You don't have to extend right now. You probably have enough lumbar extension to do what you want in your day. You just have to build up to it. Now in this flexion moment here, I would recommend just doing the flexion and then sitting down. Ooh. Again, flexion and sitting down. So instead of doing the full Cat Camel, just do the cat portion and come on down and just work into that flexion moment instead. With spinal stenosis, we're trying to open up your spine. Open things up comes from flexion, and so staying in that flexion for a prolonged period of time is going to be better for you than trying to move into extension, the second part of the Cat Camel. And what you'll notice is not only will you feel better, you have less back pain, but most of the time my patients will notice an immediate improvement in their ability to stand and walk. That flexion moment feels really good. So if you've been doing Cat Camels, that's okay, but just focus on the flexion component and I bet you're going to be feeling better. Now we just talked about Cat Camel, which is like one of the most common back exercises out there, and it's not really my favorite for lumbar spinal stenosis, but if you are going to do it, just do the flexion component and then rock down on your knees. So it's the Cat Camel into the lumbar or the prayer stretch, which is great. So stop doing the Cat Camel, just do the flexion component and go down. Now this next exercise, and I know you've done it before, is the bridge. And I'm going to tell you what I don't like about the bridge and what you should be doing instead. Okay, so here's the bridge, right? You guys all are familiar with the bridge. You lay down on the ground, you've got a pillow underneath your head, you're going to bend your knees, and you're going to lift your butt. The problem with the bridge is that we're in a neutral spine right now. We're flat, okay? We're not forward, we're not back. But remember, I just went over that extension is problematic for lumbar spinal stenosis. And so when you start to lift your hips, you're extending. I don't care what you say, like you're extending your spine, you're putting your spine into extension, you're contracting your glutes. And while you may think you're doing a good strengthening exercise, what you're actually doing is putting your spine under a load and extending in that neutral spine. And so sometimes people were like, oh, just don't go as high, right? And you'll avoid your discomfort there. But if you're looking to improve standing and walking and improve your pain in your back, just stop doing the bridge. There's much better exercises to do instead. And in fact, I'm gonna go over that in just a second. But the bridge, I usually tell clients, just stop doing it altogether. The bridge isn't worth it. One, it can be uncomfortable getting on off the ground. And two, you're extending your spine. And while if you Google anything about back pain and lumbar spinal stenosis, you'll most likely find a bridge somewhere in there. But I promise you, if you're looking for that improvement in pain relief, you're better off not doing the bridges. Okay, so now you're like, all right, Michael, you told me not to do bridges, but I want to improve my strength and my ability to walk. Well, don't do bridges, but do lunges instead. And so here we go. The lunges are, hold on to the countertop, have a good stagger stance, give yourself some grace, right? Remember, the bridges are trying to improve your back strength and hip strength. Well, the lunges are so much more effective because they're one-legged and you can be in a flexion moment instead. So I'm going to rotate my hips a little bit so I'm square. I'm gonna hold on to that countertop. I'm gonna lean forward a little bit and I'm gonna go up and down. That slight bend is enough to get some really good hip and quad strengthening going in a flexion position. Remember, flexion is our friend. And gonna give you that strength improvement that you're looking for. So when I work with my clients, they most likely want to improve their standing and walking ability, do it in a way that's not gonna make their symptoms worse. Obviously, you don't wanna make your pain worse, but why can't we improve balance and strength at the same time? So get next to the countertop, stagger your stance, lean forward slightly, and do a little bit of a bend. Now the depth doesn't matter. I don't care if you try to go down all the way. I don't care if you have a really long stagger stance, just start where you are, what feels comfortable at first. You can have a hip replacement, knee replacement, whatever here, doesn't matter. Nice long stagger stance, little bend, couple sets of 12 on each side, and I promise you, you're gonna get more work out of your glutes and legs than you would with a bridge, but in a much less painful position. That extension position with the bridge is just uncomfortable. And I say if you're able to stand, which most people are, just bend forward and do that lunge, okay? Just start there. That lunge will improve over time. That being said, lunges are just one stage of the progression, right? I'm going over exercises that you should be avoiding, but with spinal stenosis, you should be improving nerve health and mobility, your walking tolerance over time, as well as strengthening to give you that overall improvement. And that's exactly what I do in my book, Revision Sciatica. I'll put the link in the description, but that is a step-by-step plan, an 8-week progression of all of those things I just mentioned for lumbar spinal stenosis. So if you're looking for that complete package, the book may be a good reference for you to use that you can follow along the way and just have a good program laid out for you to help improve your pain and discomfort and your walking tolerance. And so that would be something that you could look into. Now, the next exercise I'm going to go over that you should not be doing is a squat, and let me tell you why. Okay, here's another one, right? We're doing our squats. We're trying to improve our strength in our back and just our overall leg strength and the way that we feel. And we think that squats are good, but for spinal stenosis, I'm telling you, there's better options. When you do a squat, you're poking your butt out, you're sitting in that chair, and this is extension the entire time in your back, the entire time. Now, you have this argument of like, okay, we need to squat sometime in our life. Most of the people with lumbar spinal stenosis, this may be you, is that when you go to pick something off the ground, you're not bending your knees and squatting down, you're just bending over. Because with spinal stenosis, flexion and bending over feels really good. But when you go to exercise, you're like, oh man, I'm gonna do some squats, but that's extension again. So you may feel some work in your back and legs, but I promise you, there's a better option. Remember, with stenosis, flexion is our friend. And so when people are doing body weight squats, I'm saying, hey, there's a better option that you can get more flexion of your spine, more work in your legs and glutes, and a deeper range of motion almost immediately. And that's with a suspension trainer or assisted device. And so I'll put a link in the description, but I use this with literally every single patient who has a lumbar spinal stenosis because you want to improve your leg strength, but you want to do it in a way that's comfortable and not problematic for your back. So No more body weight squats, but you're gonna do a suspension trainer squat instead. And so if you have one of these, make sure you use it for the squats, it's really good. But if you don't, make sure you install it correctly. And what you're going to do is just get a good lean back and flex forward and go down into the squat. Whew. Now with my unit here, it's kind of sliding on this bar that I have it on. I'll change it really quick here. Okay, perfect. But you'll use this, you'll connect it to your door. It's not gonna go anywhere. And what's great with this is that you can lean way back and get into that flexion moment and then come back up, right? You see it, you see the flexion, right? We're going to flex here, and it's different than letting go and sticking your butt out. So feet towards the door, you're going to lean forward and go down into that squat. Now what's great is the depth that you can get to. You can get to a great enough depth that you can flex that spine, feel your hips and legs working, and come back up. What's also really cool is that you get a good arm workout and you don't have to worry about balance at all because this is taking your weight. I've had patients in their 80s and 90s do this absolutely no problem. Now you'll work into the depth, but this feels way better than trying to do a bodyweight squat. I will say squats are important, but how you do it changes when you have lumbar spinal stenosis. So utilize the suspension trainer, make sure you install it correctly. Lean, start with your feet closer to the door, lean way back into it, go down into that squat and come back up. Now like the lunges, you're gonna do 2 sets of 12 on each side, you're gonna build up to it. You're going to enjoy that way more than trying to do a bodyweight squat. This is way more comfortable. You don't have to worry about balance at all. You can get into a greater depth, which means higher activation for your muscles, which means more strength over time. And it's just gonna be a better scenario for you. And so I've never had anybody have any issues with this. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but just make sure you try it out. Now you don't have to have the suspension trainer. You could easily just grab inside your countertop in the sink and then pretend this is it. And then what you'll do is you'll lean way back and bring your feet close to the countertop and then go down into the squat. So if you don't have the suspension trainer, that's okay. You can also do it with the countertop. And so we've went over some common misconceptions, including the bridge and the Cat Camel and what we just did here. I'm gonna be going over the next exercise in which I just tell people to knock it off, which is the pelvic tilt. Let me tell you what's wrong with that. Okay, here I am again, lying down, which can be really uncomfortable for lumbar spinal stenosis, but let's do a pelvic tilt because we've been told it helps. So we're gonna lie down, we're gonna bend our knees, okay? And then we're going to push our lower back into the table and then we're gonna arch up. But guess what? If you've learned anything from this video so far, right, that pushing your back towards the table is the lumbar flexion component and poking your butt into the table, arching your back up is the extension. Guess which portion of that is uncomfortable? So don't do a pelvic tilt at all, right? We want to make sure that we're efficient and effective. There are much easier things to do and more effective things to do than just getting on the ground, which one could be uncomfortable, but then two, trying to do a pelvic tilt to help improve your lower back pain when you have spinal stenosis. But I'm telling you, you've probably already figured out better ways to do it, so I don't even bother with a pelvic tilt, maybe in the very beginning of lumbar spinal stenosis when you have a lot of pain. But if you've been living with this for a while and you're trying to use the pelvic tilt as something to use to manage your discomfort and improve your pain over time, there's a better option for you, and let me show you. Okay, so you may be like, but Michael, I love the pelvic tilts. They don't hurt me. I'm gonna keep doing them. I'm like, that's okay, that's totally fine. But with the pelvic tilts, you're trying to flex your spine to give you some relief. And honestly, I just wouldn't do the extension portion of that, just like with the Cat Camel. But if you're insisting on doing it because you feel it works, go for it. But instead, I often recommend that my patients just sit and bend forward. Right? If you remember the pelvic tilt, we're poking our butt out and we're tucking. Well, that same tuck happens when we bend forward. And bending forward while we're seated typically is a very comfortable position for lumbar spinal stenosis. So if you're trying to improve flexion, which is your ability to bend forward, give yourself some pain relief. Don't worry about getting on the ground and doing a pelvic tilt. Just spread your legs, reach towards the ground, and do lumbar flexion seated instead. It's a no-brainer. It's much easier to do. You don't have to lie down. You can do it almost throughout the day, almost anywhere. And so it's just an easier exercise for you to do, and it's more effective. There's just more to it. You get more lumbar range of motion. It's just better all around. So if you're really insisting on keep doing your pelvic tilts, go for it. but the seated lumbar flexion exercise is just that much easier to do and that much more convenient for you. So we've went over 4 things so far. Now we're gonna go over the 5th, and this one is typically one that allows people to have a little bit of a grace in their standing and walking ability. All right, so this one's my favorite to talk about because I haven't met a patient yet that has had lumbar spinal stenosis and they haven't wanted to improve their posture. Now, this 5th exercise is just when people focus on their posture. So like, man, I want to improve how I stand and walk, and I want to try to stand up really tall when I'm trying to walk. Well, I'm saying if you truly have lumbar spinal stenosis and you have back and leg pain when you're walking, trying to improve your posture is going to make you worse. It's going to make you feel worse in your back and leg, but it's also going to hit you in your gut a little bit. It's going to hurt your pride of being like, man, I want to stand tall and walk, but I just can't. Well, I can tell you with spinal stenosis, you're going to have to give yourself a little bit of grace. And so some of my clients will use a walking pole. Some of them will just take flexion breaks as they walk. But instead of trying to focus on improving your posture, just focus on listening to your body. If your body is telling you when you walk to hunch forward a little bit, to give yourself some relief, and you can immediately walk further and longer, that is much more worth it than trying to just be hard on yourself and improve your posture the entire time that you're walking. And so posture with spinal stenosis is one of those things, like the bad posture of being forward didn't cause your symptoms, but in fact, it's your body telling you, hey, I feel better in this little bit of a flexion position, remember flexion is our friend, than I do trying to be standing tall and extending and try to have a better posture so I just look better. Who cares how you look sometimes? If you can walk further and longer and you don't have to worry about holding people back or trying to find somewhere to sit, it can be worth just having a little bit of flexion while you walk. And so instead of being hard on yourself or instead of doing exercises that move you into extension and cause you discomfort, just try to give yourself some grace and have a little bit of flexion when you walk. And so today we went over 5 exercises that I say, hey, stop doing these, do the modifications instead, because with your body and its changes over time, with the arthritis and the stenosis, your body just prefers to do these modifications, and you may hang on to those modifications for a long period of time because stenosis typically develops over a long period of time and gets better over time. Now, if you're looking for 5 exercises that you could be doing that are safe for stenosis and some good strengthening, I'm gonna put a video in the description and I'll probably have it pop up here some way, shape, or form that I like to do with my clients if they're trying to improve their strength, their ability to stand better and get up from a chair easier and walk longer. And these are safe exercises that you can be doing. Now, as I referenced before, if you're looking for that full 8-week program of ways to get you feeling better now, but obviously improve you all around, but I give you maintenance programs and ways to prevent flare-ups in the future, you can check out my book, Revision Sciatica, and there's a whole component. Over half the book is dedicated to lumbar spinal stenosis. And so what I would like from you is that if you found any of these exercises beneficial or modifications beneficial, just tell me underneath the video, leave a comment. I read every single comment. And then also, if you've been doing an exercise and you're not sure if it's helping you or not, ask me, right? I think it's good to get those questions answered because one little nuance change or one little change in the exercises you're doing can make all the difference in lumbar spinal stenosis, because if you've noticed this or you know somebody's noticed this, one little difference in what you do or changes in your posture can absolutely change how you feel now but in the future. And so hope you guys enjoyed today's content. These are 5 exercises that make me cringe a little bit, but the good news is there's ways to still improve. We just have to modify, and we went over those modifications today. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always guys, stay healthy, keep moving, and take care of yourself.